Hello and welcome to Yoga with Leyla and the Healthy You Festival. Today I'm going to show you a session with lots of gentle movement and dynamic balancing, and it should leave you feeling relaxed and energized. If at any point anything doesn't work for you or doesn't feel right, remember you don't have to do it. You can do it for less time or less intensity. Or fewer repetitions. If you'd like to come down onto your mat and stretch yourself out, we can start. So we're going to start by just noticing the body. Notice how you feel today. And notice how you're breathing. Notice how comfortable you are lying on the mat, and how much of your body is in contact with the floor. Just take a quick snapshot of the points of contact between you and the mat. And now let's bring the feet to standing, knees up towards the ceiling, and we're going to press the feet into the floor and lift the hips. And you don't have to lift them very much, just a little bit, just a few inches off the floor, and then bring them back down again, and then repeat. So do that again, press the feet down, lift the hips and lower. And let's do that a few times, lifting and lowering. And notice, where does the weight go? So the weight of the hips and some of the legs, where do they go? Do they go through your feet? Is there more weight going through your shoulders? Maybe your arms are pressing into the floor, or your head. So we're just asking ourselves these questions and noticing, and we're not worrying if, so don't worry if you don't know where the weight is going. Just bring your attention to, for example, your feet or your shoulders, and notice what changes as you lift the hips and as you lower them. Now let's cross one ankle over the opposite knee, and then do the same on the other side, and then decide which one is more comfortable. And if they're both the same, just choose one side, and then this time press into that one foot and lift and lower the hips. And so it's quite a different situation, isn't it? There's more weight going through that one foot and the shoulders, maybe the arms as well, and the head. So again, we're just noticing and lifting and lowering the hips. And we're not lifting very high. Now let's bring both feet to the floor and lift and lower the hips one more time in this symmetrical way. And notice if it feels different to the first time you do it. So lifting and lowering. And then let's go to the second side. So crossing the second ankle over the opposite knee. Lift and lower the hips. We're breathing the whole time. Make sure you're not holding your breath. And again, bringing your attention to, what does your body have to do to make this movement happen? And let's do a few more times so that we've equalized from one side to the other. And then when you've equalized, bring your foot down, so both feet are on the floor. Lift and lower the hips. And notice any changes. And stretch your legs away. Take a few moments just doing nothing. Breathing. And then bring your attention to the points of contact between your body and the mat. Has anything changed from the beginning of the class? So we're going to do this one more time. Bring the feet to standing, lift and lower the hips, and then each time you bring your hips down, change the position of your feet just a little bit, and then lift and lower again. So bring your feet in a bit closer together, a bit further apart, a bit further from the buttocks, a bit closer to the buttocks. Maybe turn the toes out a little, and also try turning the toes in a little. So all these different ways that we can lift and lower the hips, different foot positions, and then find that go-to position where your feet just go to that familiar spot, and then cross the first foot over the opposite knee, and then press the foot down, lifting and lowering the hips, and then changing the position of the standing foot each time you lift and lower. So it makes quite a difference, doesn't it? The way that your shoulders take your weight, the way you balance yourself, the way you have to stabilize yourself, everything changes. Now let's bring both feet to standing and just take them to that familiar spot again. Lift and lower your hips. Do this about 3 or 4 times, and then go to the second side. So crossing the second foot over the opposite knee, and lift and lower. Change the position of the foot, and keep changing the position of the foot. Taking the foot out towards the side, more towards the middle, even over to the other side, closer to the buttocks, further away from the buttocks. And when you feel like you've done about the same as you did for the other side, bring both feet to the floor, find that familiar position again, lift and lower the hips, and notice, has anything changed? So is anything different in the quality of the movement? So for me, it's become a lot easier, like I've become lighter. Still breathing. Okay, let's stretch the legs away. And once again, let's take a few moments just to lie here, noticing the body. Has anything else changed? So for me, I feel like I'm a bit closer to the floor, like I've relaxed. My body's relaxed and spread a bit. And my hips feel more relaxed, but also my shoulders and my back. So hopefully you've got the same feeling. And let's take hold of the backs of the knees, so the feet are pointing up towards the ceiling. And we're going to rock on the spine a couple of times, and then come up and over, and come into a seated cross-legged position. Let's bring the fingertips out to the sides, and then as you inhale next, float your arms up. As you exhale, bring them back down. 2 more times. Let's leave the arms out at shoulder level. Lean over to the left side, press the left hand into the floor, and reach the right arm up. Notice your shoulder, your back, and then draw your shoulders down. Relax around your face and start reaching across with the right hand. Reach, reach, reach. Slowly bringing the fingertips down towards the floor. Let your head and your shoulders and your spine take part in this movement. And one more time. And with the last one, you can see if you can follow your hand with your eyes. And then bring your hand to the floor, put the palm on the floor, let the head hang. One full breath here, and then take the arm overhead, push the floor away with the left hand, and then go from side to side, getting a little sort of elastic bend, and then bring the hands to either side of you, change the cross of the feet. With the next inhale, float the arms up and bring them back down. Keep going with the rhythm of your own breath. If at any time my cueing for the breathing doesn't work for you, just ignore the cues and keep breathing. So long as you let the breathing flow, it doesn't matter about the timing. Let's bring the arms to shoulder level. Lean over to the right. Press your right hand into the floor so you get a bit of a lift from the ground. Reach the left arm up and explore this side. Compare with the other side and then start reaching across with the fingertips, bringing them all the way down to the floor, and then take them overhead, opening up the chest towards the ceiling. Keep going. And with this last one, let's follow the hand with the eyes. And then bring the palm to the floor, let your head hang. After one full breath, take the arm overhead, push the floor away, going from side to side. And then let's stretch the legs away. Give them a little shake out, give your arms, your hands a little shake out, and then come over onto all fours. We've got the wrists under the armpits. Fingers are wide, press them down. The knees are under the hips. And then we're gonna push into the floor as we round the back. And then bring your belly button down towards the floor, open the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the chin, and keep going. One more time. And then we're gonna bring the right foot between the hands so that we've got 90-degree angles at all the joints of the legs, and then we're going to shift the weight forward and back. Keep going. Now you'll be feeling the back of the thigh of the right thigh quite strongly as you do this. So be gentle, make sure you're breathing. And then next time your hips go back, maybe shuffle the foot forward a little bit, lifting the toes, and take your toes side to side. Notice how it's the whole leg that's moving, rotating at the hip joint. And then circle the foot around the other way. And then bring the foot back to the 90-90 kneeling position. And then we're going to turn the hips to the long edge of the mat. So the right foot and the left knee are in line. Hold on to the inside of your right knee. Shift the weight over to the right this time. Keeping the chest square to the long edge of the mat, let's add an arm swing. Now you can turn your head to look at your hand. Make sure you're breathing. And then we're going to turn this into a double bounce and the side stretch. And again, double bounce. Side stretch one more time. This time stay. Relax the shoulder away from the ear. Relax your face. And then come back to the 90-degree angles and then lean right in towards the right. Right hand comes in front of the right foot. Reach the left arm up. Again, plenty of space around the neck and shoulders. And both neck and shoulders can move. And then let's come back and come over to the left side. Left hand pushing the floor away, right arm reaching up. Right leg parallel to the floor. Take up as much space as you can. Still breathing. Now check if your head is sort of relaxed towards the floor. Bring it to be so that your neck is parallel to the floor. Reach in all directions. And then let's take a side bend. So the right arm comes overhead. The head is hanging. The big toe is touching the floor. And then let's come back to kneeling. From here, we're going to come over onto all fours one more time. So wrists under the armpits, knees are under the hips, fingers are wide, and we're pressing into the floor, rounding the back. And then open the chest, lift the tailbone, lift the chin, and keep going. One more time to each side. Finishing with the belly button towards the floor, the chest wide. And then let's bring the left foot between the hands. Now, if you can't bring it there, just pick it up and put it there. Hands to either side of the foot. Lean your weight forward and back. And notice, does this side feel different to the other side? So your hamstrings on this side may be not as tight, or maybe they're tighter. And then next time you shift your hips back, stay there. Maybe shuffle the heel forward, lift the toes, and start taking the foot side to side. Notice how the knee and the thigh are also rotating. And then circle the foot, making big circles round the other way. Still breathing. And then come back, and we're going to twist, squaring the hips and the shoulders to the long edge of the mat. The left foot is in line with the right knee. Hold on to the inside of the left knee, and we're going to add an arm swing. And let's start the double bounce and come into a nice long side stretch. And again, double bounce and side stretch. One more time. And this time, let's stay. Check in with the neck and the shoulders. Soften around your eyes. And then come over and lean towards the left. Left hand to the inside of the left foot. Right arm reaching up. Still breathing. And then we're going to come back and come over onto the right hand. So pressing the right hand into the floor, push the floor away and reach the left arm up. Press the fingertips down, left leg is parallel to the floor, reaching in all directions, making yourself as big as possible. Still breathing. Big toe comes down. Left arm comes overhead, head is hanging and heavy, and we're still pushing the floor away with the right hand. Now, if your wrist is not happy in this position, you can make a fist. Or if it's happy, but you're just worried about straining it, press the fingertips down. Take some of the weight away from the wrist. And now let's circle ourselves back to kneeling. From kneeling, let's come over onto all fours once more. Curling the back toes, curling the toes under, and then lift the hips up. Take the tailbone high and press the floor away with your hands. We're going to walk the feet out, getting a nice stretch for the calves. You can move your hips a little as you do this. And then finally come into stillness, bend the knees deeply, pressing your tailbone high, pressing the hands into the mat, widen your collarbones. And then we're going to start walking the feet to the hands until we've got all the weight going through the feet. And you can hold on to your ankles here. Belly and thighs are in contact. And then we're going to press the feet down and start rolling up through the spine. So one vertebrae at a time, we're stacking until the head comes up last. Let's shrug the shoulders, shake the arms out a little. And let's come to the top of the mat. Inhale, circle both arms up. As you exhale, bend the knees, swan dive all the way down. So the sternum is leading and the hands come to the floor, palms touch the floor, bend the knees as deeply as you need to so that your belly is on your thighs, palms on the floor, and head is hanging. Straighten the legs as much as you like. Hands onto shins or thighs, lengthen the crown of the head forwards. Press the sternum, the breastbone, down. As you exhale next, bend the knees deeply, palms onto the floor, head hanging. One more time. Straighten the legs as much as you like. Lengthen the crown of the head forwards. And then we're going to press the hip creases and bring the chest up and come to be upright. Now, step your left leg back, right foot forward, left leg back. And the feet have a bit of a gap between them, so we're not crossing the heels. We've got a little gap. If there were sort of two lines, they would make tracks. The knee is above the ankle, and then we're going to take the arms, widen the chest, and let the shoulders way down towards the torso. Let's drop one arm, take a side bend. And then go to the other side. Keep going. So your challenge is to stay as balanced as possible. And then let's bring both arms down and look round behind you. Let your arms flop about you. And then center yourself, step the back foot in, and we're going to round the back and tap with loose fists around the lower back. And then extend the spine and tap around the two sides of the spine, especially around the lower back and the buttocks, the hips, the hip joints. Shake your arms and your legs, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Inhale, circle the arms up. As you exhale, bend the knees, hinging at the hips. Come all the way down, palms onto the floor, head hanging. Straighten the legs as much as you like. Lengthen the head forwards, hands onto shins or thighs. With the next exhale, bend the knees deeply again. Get your belly onto your thighs, palms onto the floor, head hanging. And again, lengthening the crown forwards, widening across the collarbones. And exhale, come back to the floor. This time we're going to roll up from here. So pressing the feet down. Keep your arms dangling and center your hips over your heels and start stacking your spine one vertebrae at a time until your head comes up last. And from here, we're going to step the right foot back. So left foot forward, right heel back. And this time, I want to do this facing you so that you've got a different view. And then we're going to bring the arms up, drop the shoulders, widen across the collarbones. Still breathing. Let's soften the face. And then dropping one arm, take a side bend and go to the other side. Still breathing. And notice your feet and see if you can spread your feet as much as you can. Let's bring both arms down. Look round behind you and let your arms and shoulders relax so that your arms just sort of flop about. And then coming to stillness, step the back foot in. I'll do this from an angle. And this time we're going to flex and extend the spine. And tap while we're doing the flexion and extension. So the tapping is just a gentle tapping, waking up all the nerve endings around this area that can have some aches and pains. Let's also tap around the buttocks, the hips, the hip joints, and let's also dust ourselves down. So another way of waking up the nerves. Great. Okay, so we're going to do a balance pose now, and we'll come into a warrior 3 pose. So starting on the right leg as the balancing leg, the standing leg. Come on, step onto your right foot. Spread your toes, widen your feet, and then press the left heel away. Lengthen up through your body from the crown of the head to the left heel, and reach your fingertips down towards the left foot. Start tipping and hinging at the hips, keeping the right knee soft. Now you can stop at any point and find your balance, and then maybe just stay there, or maybe tip a bit further, coming into like a T shape if you want. Now it's also possible to do this leaning against the wall, so I'll just show you that. So if you do it quite close to something that you can lean on, so you can help keep your balance, and when you've got your position, just push the wall away a little bit, coming into your warrior 3, Make sure you're still breathing, and also make sure that you're not crooking the back of the neck. So keep your eyes in a position where you can do that. Okay, when you come up to standing, give your arms and legs a little shake out. Maybe take a few jumps, moving the hips side to side, and let's go to the other side. Stepping onto the left foot this time. Toes wide, foot spread, lengthen up through the crown, press away and down through the heel, keeping the standing leg knee soft, start tipping. You can stay in any of these positions, so you could just be like this. It's still a balanced pose because you're only on one leg, of course, but you can also come all the way down to a T shape, keeping your eyes in a position where you can also keep the back of the neck nice and long. Still breathing, collarbones are wide, face relaxed. Remember, you can do this against the wall. And also remember that balance is something which changes each day. So on some days you may be better at balancing than other days. Okay, let's give ourselves a little shake out again. Arms and legs. Take a few jumps. So we're going to come back to the floor. Heels are at about shoulder width, and then come down into a crouch. Arms together. Take a couple of breaths here if this is possible. If your heels come off the floor, that's absolutely fine. And then let's come down to sit. Right leg stays lengthened, left knee comes up and out to the side. Reach both arms up and fold. Let's take 3 breaths here. And then coming up, let's bring the knee up. Now you can leave the foot on this side, or you can cross it over to the other side, taking both arms up, lift the chest, twist and hug the knee in, looking over the back shoulder. And let's take the chin over to the other shoulder and back again. And let's do this a few times. Bring your nose to center. Bring the chin towards the chest. Take your eyes up towards the ceiling and keep going. Breathing the whole time. And then relax and release. Let's go to the other side. Left leg is lengthened, right knee out to the side. Reaching both arms up. Hold and stay for 3 long deep breaths. Let's really concentrate on the exhales. And then bringing the right knee up this time. And again, you can have the foot on either side of the left thigh. Lift the chest, twist towards the knee, hug the knee in. Soften your face. Take your chin over to the other shoulder and back again. And see if you can do this really smoothly. Really concentrating on the quality of the movement rather than on making the movement big. Bring your nose to center. And then we're going to trace figure of eights with the tip of the nose. Round the other way. Release for a counter twist. And then bringing the feet in front of you, arms parallel to the floor. We're going to start bringing the lower back to the floor. Again, one vertebrae at a time. Let your feet slide along the mat. Finally, bring your head to the floor. Stretch the legs out. And take a moment to notice your body. So we're going to finish off with the same movement that we started with. Let's bring the feet to standing. Press the feet down. Lift the hips and lower. Do this 2 or 3 times. And then cross one foot over the opposite knee. Lift and lower the hips. Again, just do it 3 or 4 times. Breathing the whole time and come back to the symmetric position with both feet on the floor. Lift and lower the hips. Is there any difference between how you're doing it now and how you did it at the beginning of the class? Let's go to the second side. Press the foot down. Lift and lower the hips. Come back to the symmetric position. Lifting and lowering. Stretch the legs away. Bringing your attention to your body. Notice if there's any unnecessary tension that you can let go of. Bringing your attention to your breathing. See if you can soften and slow down a little bit more. So you can take a few more minutes in this nice relaxing position of lying down. And I hope you enjoyed that session. Thank you very much for practicing with me, and I hope to see you again.